All right, let's talk about AI. It's a huge topic, right? My goal today is pretty simple to cut through all the noise and the confusing jargon. By the end of this, you're going to have a really clear, simple way to think about it. So let's dive in.
So let me ask you something. Does the whole topic of AI ever just make you feel kind of lost? Like you're trying to navigate a maze of terms you've never heard before? If you're nodding along, you are definitely not alone. It's a super common feeling, and there's a really good reason for it. And a huge part of that reason is, well, this. It's just this constant wall of jargon. You hear words like neural networks, deep learning, algorithms, and it honestly feels like someone handed you a technical manual before you even learned the alphabet. It's this barrier that makes the whole subject feel totally out of reach. So in this first part, let's just break down exactly why AI feels so darn overwhelming. Because, figuring out the root of the problem, that's always the first step to actually solving it.
Here's the thing. The biggest mistake most of us make is trying to learn the technical how, the coding and the complex math, before we even grasp the conceptual what. It's kind of like trying to build a car engine before you even know what a car is supposed to do. It's an approach that pretty much guarantees you're going to end up feeling lost.
So if that's the wrong way to think about AI, what's the right way? Well, there's a really simple idea, a mental model that can literally change everything. This is the key that unlocks the whole topic, and we're calling it the apprentice mental model. And this just nails the core idea. Think about traditional programming like a calculator. You have to give it very rigid, very specific, step-by-step instructions. But AI? Think of it like an apprentice. You don't give an apprentice a 1,000-page manual of rules. No! You teach them by showing them examples. A calculator follows rules. An apprentice learns from experience. And let me tell you, that mental shift is the foundation for understanding everything else. To put it another way, with old-school software, you provide the input and the logic, the ingredients and the recipe to get your output. With artificial intelligence, you just flip that on its head. You provide the input and the final output, the ingredients and the finished cake, and you ask the AI to figure out the logic, the recipe, all on its own. Okay, so now that we have this apprentice idea as our key, we can actually use it to map out the entire AI landscape. We're going to go from the really big picture right down to the nitty-gritty, and you'll see how all those confusing terms start to fit together.
Think of it like this. At the very top, you've got artificial intelligence. That's the big, giant umbrella for making machines do smart things. Cool. So what's under that umbrella? Machine learning. That's the specific method we use to teach our apprentice with data. Then you have a special kind of machine learning called deep learning, which uses an architecture kind of inspired by the brain for really complex tasks. And finally, the thing everyone's talking about now is generative AI. That's an application where the apprentice doesn't just analyze stuff, it actually starts to create new things.
Now, I know this can all still feel a bit abstract, so let's bring it down to earth and look at an example of AI that's basically hiding in plain sight, a tool you probably use every single day without even thinking about it. And that tool? It's your email's spam filter. Seriously, it's a perfect everyday example of machine learning in action. It's our little digital apprentice working away silently in the background to keep your inbox from being a total mess. So the big question is, how does it learn? Well, it starts with training. We feed our apprentice a massive diet of examples. So let's say we show it 10,000 examples of totally legitimate, real emails, the stuff you actually want to read. This is how it learns what good is supposed to look like. And then, of course, we show it the other side of the coin, another 10,000 examples of actual annoying spam emails. By feeding it this massive volume of examples, both good and bad, we're giving our apprentice all the experience it needs to start telling the difference on its own. So how does it actually do it? The key phrase here is pattern recognition. Think of it like a detective who's amazing at finding clues. The AI isn't reading or understanding the email like you or I would. Nope, it's just getting incredibly good at spotting the little patterns that are common in spam. That fake sense of urgency or those sketchy-looking links, because it has seen them thousands and thousands of times before. And this is absolutely crucial to remember. The AI is not thinking. It's not understanding in any human way. It's really just a highly sophisticated mathematical process of recognizing a pattern that it was taught by looking at mountains of data. Okay, so we've got a solid foundation. Now let's level up our understanding by talking about some common traps people fall into. This is all about building a more accurate, more nuanced picture of what AI is, and maybe more importantly, what it isn't. First up, try not to anthropomorphize it. AI doesn't have feelings or consciousness or intentions. It's a tool, not a new life form. Second, know the difference between weak AI and strong AI. Almost everything we have today is weak AI, meaning it's designed for one specific task, like filtering spam. Strong AI, the kind from science fiction that has human-level intelligence, that's still purely hypothetical. And third, don't expect it to be 100% accurate. Since it works on probability, it's just identifying what is likely to be spam, which means, yeah, it's going to make a mistake every now and then. So, where do we go from here? We've gone from feeling overwhelmed to being informed. So let's talk about that final step, going from informed to actually feeling empowered. Honestly, the best next step isn't to run out and sign up for a coding bootcamp. It's to just keep building on this conceptual understanding. There are some really great non-technical courses out there, things like Elements of AI or AI for Everyone, and they're specifically designed to build on these exact ideas we've been talking about.
And that brings us to the end. So I just want to leave you with this one final thought. Now that AI is a little less mysterious, and you see it as this tool that learns from examples, what problem in your own work, in your community, or even just in your own life will you now see differently? Thanks for joining us.
ChatGPT works best when it's given clear instructions. But most people don't know how to structure prompts properly, which leads to low-quality results. I created a digital book that contains carefully written prompts for ChatGPT and other AI tools, designed for real-world use cases across multiple niches. If you want better results from AI, this prompt pack shows you what to ask. Backhand index pointing right link in description and comments.